Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Peter Watches TV, where I cover all the TV shows, I cover the Netflix top 10. I cover the HBO Max top 10. I cover the Apple TV top 10, the Peacock, the Paramount. I cover all the reality shows, all the housewives. I cover all the drama over here. I'm starting to think about maybe posting twice a day over here. Like a piece of drama and then like a review of a show, because I am binge watching these shows like nobody's business. I'm finishing like a show a day. I actually think yesterday I finished 2 shows, because I finished one the night before, then my husband and I finished, so I finished the night before the Beauty Queen Killer on, it was a 3-part documentary, true crime documentary series on, what was it on? It was on HBO Max. And then last night, my husband and I finished Palm Royale. So I was going through my list. Now, I have to tell you, I have so many reviews to do over here. I have Hack Season 3, The Pillowcase Murders, The Jinx 2, The Ones Who Lived, Daryl Dixon. I have a whole thing about Vanderpump Rules. I have something about the opening of Something About Her. I have like 2 other shows that I want to cover over here as well. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. And Palm Royale. Alex and I finished Palm Royale last night. So I was like, I think I'll just do the review of Palm Royale today. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a show that has been on my want to watch list for quite some time. I have an entire list, which I read to you guys, of all the shows that I want to binge watch this summer. I'm trying to get through the ones that have like 1 season first. So, Palm Royale is one of those. Palm Royale is on Apple TV. It stars Kristen Wiig, and it is a show, okay, so, you know, I wasn't sure whether or not I should do, like, spoilers or non-spoilers on the show, so, or on these videos, so leave me in the comment section below if you guys prefer spoilers or non-spoilers. I think what I'm going to do today is, like, do, like, non-spoilers, and then at a certain point be like, okay, if you want to hear the spoilers, like, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, stop now. So, but let me know in the comment section below. I always said that this would be a complete spoiler channel over here, that I would just, like, tell you exactly what I thought. So, the show is about Kristen Wiig, and she moves, from Chattanooga, Tennessee to, Palm Beach, Florida, okay? And she is like a beauty pageant winner. She's won like 3 small local titles. And so she moves to Palm Beach, Florida, and she, like, the beginning of it, she, like, hops over the wall of this country club called the Palm Royale. And there she runs into all these women that, like, are running the entire town, right? And the leader of the pack is led by Allison Janney, who is absolutely fantastic in the show. One of the bartenders is Ricky Martin, and so it's like, it has all these different people in it, that are just like, I mean, it's just like, all the cameo appearances are unbelievable. Mindy Cohn, that played Natalie on Facts of Life, plays a reporter that writes a gossip newspaper called The Shiny Sheet. And so all these women are constantly in this, like, social newspaper called The Shiny Sheet. And Maxine, who is played by Kristen Wiig, she has read The Shiny Sheet since she was a little kid. And she's always wanted to be, like, in the society life, right? So she is trying to enter into this world and do anything that she can to get in this country club. And she gets kicked out of this country club because they realize that she, like, hopped the wall and things like that. And it's like a $30,000 membership, and you have to have 3 people sponsor you to get in this membership, or to get in this country club and things like that. She wants to do anything she can to possibly get into this country club called the Palm Royale, okay? So that's probably where, if you want to hear more about the show, I'm going to spoil it after this. Okay, so this is kind of where, like, the spoilers part starts if you've watched the show, what happens. So after that, what happens is she kind of, like, makes friends with different people, and she uses different tactics. Like, she gets very close to them, right? I will say the one thing that was kind of disappointing to me about the show was that I always felt like there was going to be this moment where Kristen Wiig had this grand plan to take down everybody. What I didn't know was that it had already been renewed for a season 2. So if she was going to do that, it would have been for a great finale, but it wouldn't have been, like, I don't know how that would have led into a season 2. So what happens is that at the very end, all these women that have been, like, fighting her and trying to take her down. So the whole story is this, okay? So she is married to this guy that is the nephew, the only nephew, and only remaining family member of Norma Delacorte, who is, like, one of the richest people in Palm Beach, okay? And she is played by Carol Burnett, who has had an embolism and is in a coma, they think. And then she slowly comes starts coming out of the coma. They think that she has had this like ongoing long affair with Ricky Martin, who's her pool boy, but it turns out that Ricky Martin is gay. There is a lot of political undertones to this whole show. The show takes place in 1969. There's a lot about Nixon. There's a lot about like draft dodging. There's a lot about the draft. There's a lot about like LGBT rights and gay rights at that time, men being arrested in gay raids and things like that in bars. There's a lot of that in this. And that's kind of like the back setting to all of this. Like what are the real issues that are going on behind the walls of all these rich people's houses is kind of like the story of it, and kind of like the hypocrisy and the irony of all that, right? Like that people really, like these women really don't have any money. It's like they marry into the money or they get the money and whatever. And so Maxine ends up taking care of Carol Burnett, who is her aunt, becomes the conservator over her. And it's real funny how that happened. She has to like do all this stuff to like get it from Ricky Martin. I mean, the show is like, I will say this, the show last night, I was saying to my husband, it reminds me of Truman Capote versus the Swans, the Ryan Murphy show, except for that show is really, really sad. The show is really, really funny. If you loved Bridesmaids, like Kristen Wiig is like, that character in Bridesmaids, like put it into a socialite that knows she's not really a socialite because she's really like a local pageant winner 3 times over, or local pageant loser 3 times over, I should say. And so, and like, she's like, it's some of the same kind of like facial expressions and eye rolls and comments. I mean, she's absolutely hilarious in the show. Carol Burnett is unbelievable, okay? She, like, half the show she acts like she can't speak because she's like supposedly in this coma from this embolism, but you find out she really can speak. And so she's like trying to say these words, but she can't say these words. And so she's mumbling the whole time. Carol Burnett is, I mean, still to this day, unbelievably fantastic. Allison Janney is unbelievable. Laura Dern is so good in it. Laura Dern plays Evelyn, Allison Janney's stepdaughter, who is now like this radical hippie and doesn't want any of the money and stuff. And her father, there's a whole storyline where she allegedly shot him in this wedding and all this kind of stuff. There's so much, I don't even know where to start, because she was supposed to marry Maxine's husband. Maxine finds that out later. And then there was a shooting that occurred, and Penelope, who is Linda now, she's changed her name to Linda, who is played by Laura Dern. She is like supposedly the one that shot her dad, and so there's like all this blackmail that's constantly going on, right? And Carol Burnett has this Rolodex, and the Rolodex has everybody's name on it, but on the back of their thing, it has their secret on there. So all Maxine wants to do is throw this party called the Beach Ball that her aunt-in-law, Norma, Carol Burnett, throws every year. It's like this biggest ball. What she finds out is that these people throw these like fundraisers, and if they raise $100,000, they donate like $2,000, and they keep the other, like, I mean, it's not funny, but it is in the context of the show. They keep like the other $98,000. So really the way that they're affording this lifestyle is by throwing these charity balls. The show is so geniusly written because it is so like finger pointing towards all the people that you would want to finger point, right? And so, like, they all act like they really care about these charities, but the charities that they are really, like, raising all this money for is just so that they can line their own pockets with money. And she figures this out, but this is the thing. She is so loyal, like, she knows she's a joke and people make fun of her, but she's so loyal to her husband. She finds out later that her husband is having an affair with this girl named Misty, who is actually well, I can't think of her first name, but her last name is Gerb. It's Cindy Crawford's daughter. I mean, she looks identical to Cindy Crawford. She is fantastic in the show. She's a great actress. She plays her manicurist, and so the whole thing ends with her throwing this ball and her basically getting on the stage and singing this Peggy Lee song. So anyway, Norma is trying to kill her about the whole thing, Carol Burnett. And at one point she pushes her off the end of the ocean. I mean, there are some things in this show that are so ridiculous. This beach whale beaches itself, and then Allison Janney like falls in love with this whale, and then the whale goes away and she's like distraught because the whale left her. And so at the same time, Maxine, who is played by Kristen Wiig, is out on this boat in the middle of nowhere, and Carol Burnett with her wheelchair pushes her overseas. The boat goes away, and then she's saved by this astronaut. The whole thing is around all this astronaut, this space thing going into outer space. And so the Moon Man is what they call him, saves her, and it's just like, it's all of it. It's so ridiculous, but it's so hilarious. And so the end of it is Richard Nixon comes to, and it's so funny because like now, you know, what we know about Richard Nixon and stuff. And she's like, he is our president. The president is, we are going to honor our president. It's so funny. Like she just like stands behind all this. Some of the scenes, so like, okay, Laura Dern has this like radical, like feminist group that she runs with all these women in this bookstore. But she's got all this money, right? And so like Maxine shows up there, but like some of the things that she says are like, it's like she treats them like she doesn't, it's just, you'd have to watch the show. I mean, some of the lines are like so hilarious. I mean, they're so hilarious because they just show like how she just is completely unaware. Like her ability to play unaware is fantastic in the show. So at the very end of the show, you really think there's going to be this moment where it's like she takes them all down, but that's not really true to who her character is. And so she doesn't really. She has this whole musical routine that she's going to do at this beach ball, this party that Norma throws every year. It's the 50th anniversary. She finds out a bunch of information before. In fact, one of the things that you find out at the very end is that Norma, played by Carol Burnett, is actually not really Norma. It's actually her roommate. Norma, that she's like Agnes, her roommate. You find that out at the end of the show. And so that's going to come out in the next season. So she really isn't an heir to this thing anyway, that her old roommate at the Swiss boarding school died of a insulin overdose, and so it's like she either killed her or she is that person. She either is Agnes, and the only person that knows that is Ricky Martin. Well, he gets shot by the woman, I can't remember what her name is, but she was in like the second cast of Designing Women. She plays one of these, she is hilarious in it. And she's trying to shoot Richard Nixon, and she ends up shooting Ricky Martin instead. And so at the end, you think Ricky Martin's going to die. I don't think he's going to die. I think that he's going to live because there's going to be another season of the show. So she's on stage and she's singing Is That All There Is by Peggy Lee, which is like one of my favorite movies, or one of my favorite songs of life, and I loved it in the movie After Hours, if you've ever seen that movie. So anyway, so she is singing this song, but she rewrites the words to fit her own life about being an orphan that was put in a wash basin, and then she wanted to be beauty pageants, and she meets this guy, and she loved this guy so much, and in that moment, you really realize, like, what a genuinely good person she is inside. And she's only, like, yes, she's had these selfish needs of, like, wanting to, like, get to the top. But it was only because she never really believed in her own self-worth and things like that. And all these people have used her and done wrong. And it's this very genuine moment. And then it ends with Ricky Martin getting shot. And you don't really know what's going to... I looked at my husband and I was like, is this how it's going to end? And so I like, literally got on the phone and I was like, is there a second season of Palm Royale? And I was like, oh my God, thank God. So it did get renewed. So I cannot wait to watch it. I'm telling you, do not sleep on this show. It is so fantastic. My friend Tani Jean, I talked to her, I was like, did you watch Palm Royale? It is so good. We watched 6 episodes the first night. I could have binge watched the whole show sitting right there. And last night we watched the last 4. And Tani was like, I watched it the first 1 or 2. I couldn't really get into it. She couldn't get into Schitt's Creek either. Tani and I don't always agree on TV shows. Some, like true crime, we always do, but other ones we don't always. I was like, girl, you need to give it another try. It is so good. She was like, I'm going to give it another try. She's like, if you say it's that good, I'm going to trust you. So she's going to watch it this weekend. But do not sleep on Palm Royale. It is really, really that good, okay? And, yeah, so anyway, put in the comment sections any shows that you guys want me to watch and cover. I will binge watch. I mean, don't be saying no Sister Wives, that's 22 seasons, because that's on my list already. But if it's like 1 season of a show, I'm currently right now watching Under the Bridge on Hulu. I will be doing, I'm sure I'll finish the show tonight or tomorrow. I will be doing that review. My cousin recommended it to me. It is so good. It takes place in 1997 in Victoria, Canada, and it's about a girl that gets murdered, and it's about, they all live in this like group home and how she gets murdered. It's like this police officer and her old friend, well, not old friend, they're like 35 in the show, but like, and she's a writer and she's writing a book about the girls in this town and like them coming together. I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in and I could have binge watched the whole show last night. It is so, so, so good. So anyway, in the comment section below, please let me know any shows. I'm willing to watch anything, okay? I'm willing to watch anything that you guys want me to cover over here. It seems like a lot of people kind of like the true crime, not necessarily the true crime, but like more of like those true stories like the Ashley Madison, the 7M TikTok thing. I have on my list the Kevin Spacey one on Max, and I also have on my list the I think it's on Max, or maybe it's on Paramount. And then the Nick and Aaron Carter one. A couple people have asked me to watch that one. If there are shows out there, I have not watched the On the Set about the Nickelodeon cast. If you guys want me to watch that, I will watch that too. Anyway, put it in the comment section below what you guys want me to watch. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.